America on April Fool's Day 2025 is not the same nation as it was when it first fell apart in 2020. Although new ideologies have taken power and reunified parts of the nations, they are quite different from each other, and an iron curtain, or in some cases a green curtain, now rests across the American heartland. Today we shall inspect what is the meaning of this iron or green curtain and what people on either side of it feel about each other. After going through some really harrowing experiences, our news translators on the ground have finally managed to get exclusive access to certain elements of the populations of these countries. The first is, of course, the West Coast Autonomous Zone, led by Peter Lambon Wilson and the American Social Coalition. These are anarcho-communists who took over after Bernie Sanders' regime collapsed, after the Chinese stopped financing the American Reds, and in their place, the anarchist faction proved to be dominant and seized power, reunifying most of America's West Coast. Today, the West Coast is made up of several anarchist communes, and each of them hold an equal number of power. Each man is king of his own commune, and although they do have a small capital at Sacramento, it is largely ceremonial because all decisions are taken by the individual communes. The communes have no armies. In their case, they have people's militias. Now, of course, if they had someone strong like the Principality of Texas on their borders, then these people's militias might not have been strong enough to resist them. But in the present circumstances, they make do with what they have. Then we have the liberated territory of America. Ted Kaczynski or Theodore Kaczynski broke out of prison after the collapse of America. And in an unbelievable chain of events, he not only managed to form his own regime in the middle of America, but managed to form his own cult like following based around anarcho primitivia, restoring man to how he was meant to be, quote unquote, in the words of Ted Kaczynski. The problems of the modern world would encroach on Ted's backyard, and feeling no other options, Ted would become the Unabomber following his arrest. But now he's back, and now he's leading man back to the purity of the old past. The world shall never be the same again. And of course, in the eastern part, we have the Principality of Texas. Now, the Unabomber did not really manage to achieve any sort of anarcho primitivia. Instead, what he has is a kind of cult like dictatorship, a new religion which only worships anarcho primitivia without actually adhering to it in practice, for the most part at least. But unlike that, in the Principality of Texas, they have actually managed to restore the monarchy. A foreign prince was called upon to take the throne of America, and now America is a kingdom once more, soon to be an empire under King Harold I. Once again, in practice, it is simply an oligarchy of powerful old American big business, the American military, and simply normal Americans who want something to continue from the past and not go completely wild into the unknown future of anarchism or the unknown past of primitivia. But without further ado, let's get to the actual interviews. The first person we managed to find was Elias Romero. He is a member of the Bakersfield commune somewhere in the deserts of Nevada. So let's hear what he has to say about the porous border. The Primitivians? Yeah, I mean, we talk about them sure, but half the time it's more like ghost stories. Officially, they're anti-tech zealots or something. No engines, no circuits, no steel. The bulletins say they live in huts made of moss and scream if they see a solar panel. You laugh, but I've actually seen the smoke, like real plumes of it, rising from their side of the border. No machines, no power lines, no hum of drones. Just quiet, and that weird smoke every morning, like they're lighting signal fires or burning gods or whatever. I work at the rail node down near the border between the Bakersfield commune and the other communes. cargo hub for our cooperatives. Sometimes drones snap photos across the belt. I saw once, grainy image, kind of eerie. Some figures wrapped in hides, carrying woven baskets like a 1600s Neo-Luddite painting. Once we picked up this guy, barefoot, bleeding bad. Said he escaped from some village tribunal or something. They tried to make him confess to tool sin. He made a pulley, a freaking pulley. My kid makes more dangerous stuff in the garden with plastic trash that they teach him in the communal kitchen. But you are asking me what I believe, not just the bulletins. I think it started as something real. Like I get it. Back in the day, the world was burning, oceans dead, forests razed. They were right to reject all that. But they just froze, like they hit pause and never unpaused. Some folks here think it's not even real anymore, that it's all theater. Like maybe there's a city under it all after all, with servers and holograms, and they're just pretending to be savages. But no, I don't think so. I think they believe in what they are doing, and that's what makes them dangerous. And that was the end of the transmission. Now we shall hear from the other side, the Principality of Texas. And what do they feel about this border? You ever hear them? The prims? You can smell 'em before you do. All bark oil and animal stink, covered in mud or tree sap or whatever ritual goo they smear on themselves. And that's when they show up at all, which mostly they don't. They watch us from the tree line like damn ghosts with stone knives and smirks like they know something we don't. Now I know what they say about us over there, that we are living in the past. Their crowning His Majesty was a betrayal of liberty, of American valor. Well, maybe so. But due to King Harold the First, my kids eat. My wife sleeps on a mattress that ain't made of straw. We have got lights, we have got order, we are rebuilding. Not that wilding chaos of the future. You see what happened when the grids failed, when the cities died screaming in the Civil War? We picked ourselves up, slapped a crown on a man who don't mind speaking plain and wearing the uniform, and we started acting like adults. So that is the account of this unknown person on the border between Texas and liberated territory of America. But now, of course, our men went right into the heart of darkness, into the heart of darkness of primitivia, to see what someone, some unknown, unnamed volunteer from them, feels about the other two sides. So let's hear from them now. And you will notice that the people inside Primitivia are not really the screaming savages that people on the other sides of the borders think. No. In fact, the person we interviewed was quite normal. So this proves that underneath all the cultist adherence to anarcho-primitivism, there lies a heart of genuine regime. So let's hear from someone who calls himself as Comrade 35. He's a woodcutter somewhere within the borders of the CNT and the border of Primitivia. I was born in Phoenix, back when it was all glass and chrome, towers scraping the smog, food printers in every co-op pod, classrooms with walls that change colors based on your stress hormones. We had trackers implanted as babies. I mean, not implanted, but that's what certain big businessmen wanted to show. But now I live in peace, in my cabin. Took me a year to build it, and Comrade Kaczynski helped us build it. I trade dried herbs and carved tools for flour. I eat mushrooms, sometimes rabbit. I ain't touched a screen in years, and I ain't had all that plastic crap going into my stomach for the last 3 years. I've got no signal in my blood anymore. I hear the window now, like really hear it. And at nights, I see the Milky Way in all its glory. They say we are backwards, that we burn books and sleep in holes. Nah, man, we copy books by hand. I've transcribed Marx's books, Kropotkin's fields, factories and workshops twice already, and of course Comrade Kaczynski's papers on humanity, on math, on theory. And yeah, we reject the machine because we remember what it did not just to the earth but to us. These machines are what destroyed the old America, what led us into the suffering of the Civil War, emotional and societal regulation. And they say we are a lawless hellscape. No, we have got laws, sure, strict ones. You build a motor, you're gone. Caught using plastic, trial by circle. But we are not killing people. No, no. Instead, you criticize yourself. You see, here in Primitivia, we believe that nothing can justify the use of such technologies because everything that you can make with those harmful technologies can be made without them. And of course, we are not averse to the idea of using certain technologies sometimes. After all, nothing can beat modern medicine, and Comrade Kaczynski has never stopped us from using the latest fields of medicine. It's only the fake chemical crap that we are adding to our bodies, poisoning ourselves. That is what Comrade Kaczynski doesn't want. But of course, those fake anarchists on the West Coast and the oligarchic big businessmen on the East Coast, they are scared by our militias operating on their borders. Don't worry, comrade. We know what those militias do. And that is on purpose. You see, Primitivia doesn't really have a real army. Comrade Kaczynski does not believe in using the youth forcefully to fight his war. So instead, we make do with what little men we have, and they attack on the border. Their tactic is to scare the two sides of the border into submission. After all, if you can appear like a ghost, then why not do so? As Sun Tzu had said, you must win the battle without fighting it. But now, my friends, I'm sure you wish to believe and see what the Principality of Texas feels about the CNT, the West Coast Autonomous Zone. So let's end after doing that. This is from Penelope Penny Rhymes, a civics teacher in the Royal Academy of New York, which is a very high class historical university in the Principality of Texas or the Principality of America. Now, of course, she spoke in a female voice, but I am narrating it to you, so I shall speak to you directly man to man. So here's what she said. I teach 9th form civics, right? And the first question I always get every single year is, Miss Ryans, is it true that anarchists don't have police? And I tell them, yes, it's true. And that's why you get chaos. You get chaos and you get fires. You get people voting on whether theft is wrong. One of their communes apparently just abolished personal property altogether. Called toothbrushes a tool of capitalist isolation. I swear to God they are mad. Although, of course, they're not as mad as the other lunatics here, but still. Now, I'm not saying everything they do is evil. Some of it on paper sounds fair. Local voting, worker ownership, mutual clinics, but that's theory. In practice, I've seen their side of the border. Dust and arguments. They spend more time in meetings and theorizing than in fields, and they're all controlled by the Chinese, by Xi Jinping. If you say something wrong, they exile you. No, they put you on trial. No appeal, just gone. They call it restorative exclusion. Over here, we have got structure, we have got authority, we have got hierarchy. The king is at the top and the subjects obey. King Harold, he doesn't run everything, He signs off, symbol of national rebirth. It's the Defense Council and the Governor General that run the day to day activity. It's our companies who are bringing back the virtues of American capitalism. On propaganda? Yeah, okay, we have it. We broadcast, we have slogans like Order onto Anarchy, and we drop flyers over the West Coast Autonomous Zone. No, we don't do that over the liberated territory of America because those lunatics, as long as they abhor technology, they're not averse to using rocket launchers to shoot down our helicopters. This is their hypocrisy. There are raids sometimes, saboteurs. They cut a fiber line last fall. Communications blacked out for hours. Panic spread. The CNT says that they shall have done the same to us if it was their border with us instead of the liberated territory of America. I guess sometimes I worry deep down that we might lose to them one day if both of them get together. But ha, that's a joke. I mean, one of them are slightly sane anarchists and the other are literally lunatics. And we all know that in front of insanity, order always triumphs. As a side note, I would like to say that the Federation Cartels Autonomos, the Mexican drug cartels, have now gained complete control of Mexico, and now they're using it to send huge amounts of drugs, especially to Ted Kaczynski's regime, because apparently they have a lot of need for that. With this, Mexico is slowly becoming one of the richest countries in the world, although most of this wealth is now focused and completely condensed in the hands of a few big cartel members. And so that is it, my friends. Stay safe. And let us hope that one day America shall be unified again.